I hit a guy with my car once. It was a 1970 Plymouth Satellite. I was driving home from a gig one night. It was probably like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was merging from one highway onto another highway. And there was no traffic at all on the road. So I looked in front of me, no cars. So I'm looking over my left shoulder as I'm merging onto the other highway. Nobody's coming, so I decided to just shoot right out into the middle of the highway. As I turned to face back forward, all of a sudden there's a guy standing on my path, all dressed in black. Now, the first thing he did is probably what anybody would do, is he put out his arms, gonna slow me down a little bit. Yeah, right, like you're gonna stop a Plymouth going 65 miles an hour. When I realized I wasn't gonna be able to swerve around him, I just stomped on the brakes. Bam! Plowed right into him. Now, when I hit him, he did like this pirouette spread eagle thing, like some kind of ghoulish ballet move in the moonlight. Things shot off in different directions, and I could have sworn one of them had a hat on. So I thought the guy's head just came off me. The grill of my car just chopped this guy's head off. Now, I screeched to a halt. My lights are facing into the woods, so anybody coming up on me isn't going to see my car. Now, I'm in my car just repeating the phrase, I didn't just hit a guy. 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 So I slowly look out the passenger window, and I see a knee, and I'm like, fuck, I just hit a guy. Oh, that's going to be great on my insurance. I don't want to go look at this headless body, so I get out of my car and I'm trying to talk myself into going around the car to see this headless body. Then all of a sudden I get a feeling of something coming up on me, you know? You know how you get that feeling, you're not really sure, and I turn around just in time to scream and jump out of the way as this old guy in a station wagon just plows into my car. Now, the guy was like 90. And that's the first thought I remember having. I look over, and now I was like, look how old that guy is. What the fuck is he doing out at this hour? Now he's smashed into my car. So I go running over to his car, and he's got a big bloody gash in his forehead. But I'm just pounding on the window like a madman. And I'm like, mister, I just hit a guy. His head came off, and it flew over there. I don't want to go look. Will you go look for me? And I think it was because he was just so dazed from the accident, he said, okay. So he got out of the car, and probably what was a really surreal moment to him, and he shuffled around, and it seemed like it took him forever. Finally looked up and he went, nope, head's still on. So I went around the front of my car, and did you ever cut a worm in half or a caterpillar? The way they writhe and squirm on the ground in pain. That's what this guy was doing. He was just going all over the place, muscles tensing. I'm sure he was like all broken up like a fucking piñata inside. And he had those like blood mucus bubbles coming out of his nose and his mouth and yellow shit. I don't even know what part of the body that came from was bubbling out of there too. Now people are starting to stop. These 4 old ladies who were drunk out of their tree pull over. It was like ladies' night out. I mean, they were drunk out of their fucking minds. So, when I hit the guy, what I saw fly off were his boots. That's how hard I hit him. Right in the nuts. And any man, I think, would do that. I think you'd do a pirouette if you got hit in the nuts by a Plymouth going 65 miles an hour. Well, one of the boots was laying on its side underneath the car, and you could see the sole. One of these old ladies starts screaming like a banshee. Oh my God, you get somebody else's other body under the car. Now the cops are already trying to pin this on me, so I'm just like, shut up, you stupid bitch, it's the guy's boot. So the cops get over there with flashlights and they look under the car and they realize I didn't run over and crush another guy. They usher the old ladies back to the car. Why they didn't bust them for drunk driving, I have no idea, but I guess they thought they had bigger fish to fry because, hey, I had run a guy down with my car. Now, luckily, I hadn't been drinking at all that night, because normally I would drink after a gig. But this night, I had a stomach ache. I didn't feel like drinking, which was really good on my half, because then no matter what had happened, even if it wasn't my fault and I was drunk, I was behind the wheel, and it would have been my fault for hitting that guy. So after hours of questioning by the police, the state cop that was talking to me said, all right, look, go on home. I'll contact you tomorrow. I'm going to go to the hospital, get all this guy's information. You can fill it out on your insurance report. So I went home and I woke up my mom. And I'm like, Mitz, wake up. I just hit a guy. She was like really groggy. And she's like, all right, we'll talk about it tomorrow. I'm like, no, I hit a guy in my car, his flesh. That snapped her awake. So she woke up, made some coffee. I told her what happened. So the next day, the state cop calls me. And he's like, what a dickhead that guy was. I don't know what his story is, but, you know, if you need any help just call me, because, you're not supposed to be walking on the highways anyway, so fuck that guy for being out there. He was a complete idiot. What I really think was happening, what the cop said, was he was trying to kill himself. That's why he was dressed all in black. And I thought, well, that's nice. Be a real chicken shit. Stand in front of my fucking car and let me live with the image of your face for the rest of my life, because you couldn't get a gun and blow your head off. Luckily, nothing ever happened to me. All that happened was my insurance company charged me a surcharge for 3 years of $25. I got off lucky. And I never really think about that night, because in my brain it wasn't my fault. So I've never had a nightmare or a dream at all.